In what is the final regular season home match for the Indy 11, a win tonight would go a long way to clinch a home playoff match. We would not know that at the conclusion of business this evening, but we know this: a win or a draw means the Indy 11 are a playoff team for a second consecutive season. Pitch side here in Indianapolis, alongside Brad Hunter. My name is Greg Rakestraw. Thank you for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer down on the CBS Sports Galazzo Network, of course, our local television partner, My Indy TV. Brad, a week ago, the Indy 11 played twice. They did not give up a goal in either match. Just scored one. That was James Musa, but that 3 points in Loudon last Tuesday, absolutely huge to put the Indy 11 in a playoff clinching scenario.
Yeah, that was a massive win late, so a lot of energy taking that game into Detroit, and those 3 points were so huge, not just for getting closer to securing the playoff spot, but even the opportunity to grab a home playoff match.
So frankly, it gave Indy the chance to maybe change their tactics a bit for Detroit, and that ended up being played to a 0-0 stalemate. And because of those back-to-back clean sheets, Hunter Salt obviously a big part of that, but Benafemu made the USL Championship Team of the Week.
Right, he's been fantastic, not just in tackles and blocks, but just in winning balls in the air. It's been a great week for him.
So here is the match last Saturday, and again, both teams cagey in Hamtramck. Brad, I'll note this: Indy has played 3 regular season matches in that building. Detroit City has yet to score a goal against the Indy 11 in those games.
Yeah, and you can thank the crossbar and a great save by Hunter Salt for that.
By the way, Hunter Salt now clean sheets 8 and 9 in an Indy 11 uniform in USL Championship play. So here are the up-to-the-minute standings, and literally I mean by the minute, because Tampa Bay and North Carolina are about to finish. So we will update this again at halftime. Again, 4 through 11 are all in play. The difference in 4 and 5 is a home playoff match in the first weekend. Again, a point or a win or a draw gives Indy a playoff match. A win gets them a lot closer to hosting here 2 weeks from now. Some significantly familiar faces on the opposite side of the ledger for Birmingham Legion, like the second leading goal scorer in Indy 11 history. Tyler Pasher, Alex Croniale, and Stefano Pino all line up against their former team coming up next.
AES Indiana is dedicated to providing you with smart energy solutions that power our lives. Our energy efficiency programs help you save energy and money. From rebates on lighting and smart thermostats to appliance pickup and recycling, you can take advantage of cleaner, more cost-effective energy solutions right here, right now. IPL is now AES Indiana. We are accelerating the future of energy together.
At Indiana Members Credit Union, we're invested in more than just your finances. We're invested in your future, the future of your family, the well-being of the community you live in, and in those who dream big. Until those dreams become a reality, any bank can give you a loan or open an account. At IMCU, we care about more than just dollars and cents. We care about doing things that make sense. And investing in you makes good sense to us.
Find it, try it, paint it, love it. 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 Find it, try it, paint it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
Tonight's match is presented by Community Health Sports Medicine. Exceptional care simply delivered. And by your Central Indiana Ford dealers. Your Central Indiana Ford dealers are a proud sponsor of Indy 11 Soccer. Visit your local Ford dealer today for great deals on your favorite Ford vehicle. Speaking of our friends at Ford, they are presenting tonight's Fan Appreciation Night, and they present your starting lineups. Your Central Indiana Ford dealers, a proud sponsor of Indy 11 Soccer. For the boys in blue, They'll go with a 4-4-2 formation, and Logan Neidlinger gets to start. Hayden White still out due to injury.
Yeah, and I love the fact of pushing Malik out wide and giving him a little bit more space to get him some freedom.
Of note, no Adrian Deespay, no Cam Lindley in the 18 tonight for head coach Sean McCauley. As we mentioned for Birmingham Legion, this is a team that is very veteran and guys that know their way around this building. Tyler Pasher, Stefano Pino, who scored 13 goals here 2 seasons ago. Alex Croniale was here for all of 6 games 5 years ago in 2019, and Matt Van Oekel's been playing in this building for a decade in his NASL days and now for the Birmingham Legion.
Right, a lot of familiar faces, and not just the guys that lined up for us years past, but Enzo Martinez has been tearing this league up for a long time.
We talk about Aiden Quinn being in the easy best 11 in league history. Enzo Martinez is right there next to him in the midfield. There is Alex Croniale looking on in their road white kits. It is Birmingham Legion with the opening possession. Thanks for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer here on the CBS Sports Galazo Network and My Indy TV. Second match of the season. Indy won in Birmingham 1-0 on a spot kick from Jack Blake back on June 9th. Blake immediately trying to create things in the attack for the Indy 11. Hernandez Foster, one of the few new names and younger faces in Tommy Soane's lineup tonight, takes it away for just a matter of moments. Birmingham, one of 4 teams entering the night, sitting on 42 points. Hartford right behind them at 40, but they've got a match in hand because they have to make up a match that was postponed by Hurricane Helene back in September. That match will be played at IMG Academy in Bradenton on Wednesday, which is where the Indy 11 will play on Saturday against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. In other words, we will do more scoreboard watching than maybe we have in any other game in club history tonight, because, again, spots 4 through 11.
That's crazy.
And even the third seeds still are up for grabs heading to the last 2 weekends of the season.
Yeah, and you talk about the parity and how congested it is, and this is a must-win for Birmingham. I mean, just a few weeks ago, they looked like they were a shoo-in and had a possibility of a home playoff spot. Now they're fighting for their chance to stay alive.
Handball is called, by the way. Matthew Corrigan is our referee for tonight's contest. Ricardo Ocampo, Jackson Krause are the assistants, and William Gaither III is our 4th official for this evening's contest. Here is Neidlinger, who since the last time we saw the Indy 11 has signed his first full professional contract with the Indy 11 at the age of 19, and on cue steps in front of that passing lane. Foster to Martinez. The speed on display for the Indy 11. Fanuel Kavita, who we have seen play against the Indy 11 for a long time, digs in defensively. Fanuel, much like Trevor Spangenberg, the backup goalkeeper for Birmingham, they date back to Puerto Rico in the NASL.
Way back.
Playing against the Indy 11. These two played each other 4 times back in the 2021 season. It has been twice a year since then. Indy's had a couple of wins in the series in Birmingham, including this year. Indy has usually fared well against the Legion here at home. Throwing coming for the Aiden Stanley.
Great ball from Aiden Quinn down into the corner for Augie Williams, and then the overlapping run from Stanley just allows so many bodies in here to keep things congested and not allow Birmingham an out.
Aiden Quinn has a rare go for goal. Aiden Quinn returned to the lineup back on August 2nd after missing the better part of 11 months after a knee injury last season. Flag stays down here, and we've said this a time or two. Tyler Pasher attacking down the left flank, this time against the Indy 11.
Yeah, Neidlinger's going to have a different challenge tonight because the pace of Pasher is off the charts.
Neidlinger now sees Tabori Taka play on the cross, and Pino, oh my goodness. Stefano Pino, always a nose for goal, whether he's playing against the Indy 11 or for them. It will be a goal kick for Hunter Salt. Let's take this chance, look at our injury report, which is brought to us by Community Health Network Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. Sebastian Guenzati, Hayden White, Maka King, Diego Sanchez, all out. Again, Guenzati and White are getting much closer 2 returning if needed for the Indy 11.
Think about the benefit of that. Adding in White and then another goal scoring option in Guenzati as you head into the playoffs.
Here is Salt. Loney from Portland Timbers. The team all year, took over as the starting netminder in late April, and once he was placed between the posts, he has not let that spot go. Van Oekel, even though he did not play in this league really until 2018, he is significantly on the charts of several goalkeeper marks in league history. Middle of the park, Pasher. And Musa will simply let this ball trickle its way to Hunter Salt. Again, from a playoff standpoint, the draw is much better for the Indy 11 than it would be for Birmingham. But Indy is playing to try to secure a home playoff position. And the math is quite simple. If Indy wins each of their last 2 matches, they will be a home playoff team. How does that happen? Well, let's get to our keys to the game, which are presented by your Central Indiana Ford dealers.
Yeah, for Indy, you're playing an older team, one of the oldest teams in the league, and it's late in the season. Play quickly, see if you can wear them down, and then overloads to isolation. So overload, bring some players into a box, get Birmingham to shift in, and then quickly switch it and see if you can get some isolation opportunities for your pace in Martinez, Augie Williams, and Malik Foster. For Birmingham, the same thing that we talked about. It's an older team, but it's a veteran team, so they know how to handle things. That's going to be a key for them tonight. And then cover. Make sure that you've got cover behind that pressing defender. Indy has too much speed.
Derek Dodson made that solid play, and we've seen Derek a lot over the course of the last 3 years in this league. Derek is one of the Birmingham players that joined the squad on loan this year. Derek last year part of the Eastern Conference champions in Charleston. He's currently on loan from Minnesota United, which is also the former club of this man. The goalkeeping coach and starting goalkeeper since day one for the Legion, Matt Van Oekel. The flick by Augie Williams, right idea. Just couldn't find a teammate. And Romario Williams available off the bench for selection up top, as is Elliot Collier. Romario back from international duty with Jamaica. Croniali steps in front of Augie Williams.
That's going to be a matchup we're going to see all night. They're trying to find, getting that one-on-one with Croniali. Veteran defender against Augie Williams, who's got pace. And so Croniali's going to have to use a little bit of his craftiness and wisdom, because he's not going to be able to keep up with Williams in an open field.
When Croniali played for the Indy 11, it was a 6-game spell on loan from the Columbus Crew. Injuries beset the Crew at the Major League Soccer level that year, so Alex was recalled from that loan and basically played in Major League Soccer that entire season. Since that time, he's been patrolling the back line for the Birmingham Legion and Tom Stone.
Great find.
Martinez. Ball knocked forward, looking for Augie Williams by Jack Blake.
Yeah, you can sense a bit of the urgency in Birmingham right now. They're playing on the front foot.
Tonight's match brought to us by the Keystone Group, specializing in transformational developments, construction, management, and investments. Tabori Taka looking for an angle to cross it. Well, Aiden Stanley does have a Duke education, so he's not figuring the angle, how to keep that ball in play.
That took a weird spin.
But the ball turned over and in a dangerous spot to the visitors. At the edge of the 18, ball chipped forward, and Aiden Quinn deft with his feet as well as the top of his noggin as he heads it back to Hunter Salt.
Veteran, you got to have confidence in that moment, not just in yourself, but in Hunter Salt. You know that you're getting some Birmingham players crashing the 6-yard box, so it's got to be perfect.
There are 2 players that we will talk about in a similar vein tonight. One on each side. Aiden Quinn for the Indy 11, Enzo Martinez for Birmingham, as Blake goes flying and deemed that Dodson got there legally and on time. So we play on. Tonight is the 262nd appearance for Aiden Quinn in the USL Championship regular season match. That ties him for 6th in league history with Hugh Roberts. And there'll be more lines like that about he and Enzo throughout the course of the broadcast. feeling out process continuing here off of Dougie Martinez. Throw in coming for the visitors. Fanuel Kavita will leave it for a teammate. And Indy finishes with Tampa Bay next week. Tampa beaten earlier by North Carolina in a game that was scheduled to be a Rowdies home game that was moved to Cary. That gets North Carolina on 45 points. Advantage is being played here. Dotson the service. Musa the momentary clearance.
That was a great thought, because if he was able to clear Musa, you got Pino making a run inside the 6.
And this one heads up in row 3 of the BYB. That blast was not on target. For Birmingham, this is a tough finishing kick, because their last home match was last week. It did not go well. A 3-0 loss on Sunday to the playoff-bound Las Vegas Lights. But Birmingham, after this one, goes home and then has to go cross-country. And they finish the season where Indy started theirs, at the Oakland Roots.
Can you believe that turnaround by Las Vegas this year?
They and Loudoun are kind of the stories of the league. Now, Loudoun may not make the playoffs, but the fact that both teams, which frankly have not come close to sniffing the playoffs in years gone by, are now legitimate contending franchises is a credit to both organizations. Here's Neidlinger at 19 years of age on the throw in here. Ball chipped forward. Finds Martinez. Moses Mensah tracking him on the far side. Tabori Taka doesn't clear it for that far. Quinn, extra touch, Stanley. Oh, there is some skill in that triangle, as evidenced by that ball from Blake to Stanley. Stanley bends it in, but Cronali got in the way. But then that clearance, not exactly a great one. Can Indy take advantage? Looking back post, Cronali uses his size. Ofemu uses his. Deft touch by Quinn, but could not find Malik Foster. Instructions being barked out from the Indy 11 sideline. Brad, what do you hear?
Yeah, they're trying to get this. They recognize that it's a tough ball for Birmingham into the corner, and they want to get bodies in there and just make it difficult. Look at a counter press. See if you can repossess the ball in the attacking third.
Tonight's match is brought to us by Community Health Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. Exceptional care simply delivered. Brem Sumaro had it, lost it, and Quinn just kind of hits a real estate ball to hit the reset button for the Indy 11.
Boy, it is just a master class in distribution, vision, and creativity from Aiden Quinn in that last possession just outside the 18. He's perched out there just being a release for anybody that gets stuck. And every time that ball came to him, a nice little one-touch, but it's always finding a player, and it's always putting a teammate into a dangerous position.
What's the line about, 10,000 reps? Is what what gets you to
I think that's a
masterclass level of skill.
That's a book I read, Malcolm Gladwell, right? It's like 10,000 hours you need, right?
Well, how about 20,000 minutes? Because that's how much that Aiden Quinn has played in this league. In fact, he is second in league history in minutes played. He is 498 back of the legendary Canardo Forbes heading into tonight's match.
Unreal. And you think, too, if he didn't sustain that injury, where he'd be.
He was number one and then has been passed since that time. Stanley on the throw in here. Stanley leads the team in assists with 7. Has 9 if you include open cup play. Bending ball, Quinn. Flick back post, and that's going to be an own goal. Indy will take the help. A freebie for the Indy 11. And whether it's knocked in by the Indy 11 or not, they're going to cue the smoke anyway. 1-0 Indy in minute number 14.
Right, and that's Aiden Quinn. That ball comes back to him, and it's a no-look. He knows, I know where that dangerous spot is. I'm going to put it in there and just see what kind of craziness happens.
Believe me, Fanuel Kavita has prevented far more goals for his team than he has given up in situations like that. But even the best of players can make a mistake, and as Van Oekel went left, Fanuel tried to clear it, didn't hit it the way he wanted to. The miscue caused by Douglas Martinez. Indy the benefactor. They're a goal to the good 15 minutes in.
And Kavita knew that he had to make a touch because Augie Williams was behind him and he couldn't let that ball get through.
Still not the most influential own goal of the season for the Indy 11. I think that's going to belong to Dax McCarty all year long. That could be the one that clinches a playoff spot. I was asked by someone earlier today, what's your favorite Indy 11 moment of the season? And my response was, well, I hope it's yet to happen. But to this point, it would be the win in Atlanta, in Kennesaw to be precise. First ever win against an MLS team in Open Cup play for the Indy 11 back on July 9th. Sumaro, good looking ball here. Options to the left. Ball played back. Jack Blake, one touch to settle. Second touch to blast it home. Jack Blake gets the goal. That is his 10th of the season. His second against the Legion. Cue that smoke one more time. 2-0 Indy, 15 minutes in.
What a ball. What a ball. First, the brilliant ball played down the line into space. And then instead of taking the early serve and driving it across the box, you wait. You recognize over your left shoulder. You've got late runs coming. You drive it back to Jack Blake. One touch and kaboom.
And how about the presence of mind to take that touch to settle? I thought he might have tried to one-time that. Loved that camera angle from behind the net. Give the assist to Douglas Martinez, his third of the season. And Blake joins Augie Williams now with 10 goals in league play. And remember, he missed almost 2 months from the end of June to mid-August.
What a strike. And you mentioned you thought might be a one-touch opportunity. We've seen that so much from him, patrolling just outside the box or right at the edge of the 18, and ball comes back to him, and it's a one-touch strike, and it's always on target. And this time he has the presence of mind to take two and bury it.
There is a lot of match left to go, but obviously a dream start for the Indy 11, and Aiden Quinn with the tactical foul there. Good find on the restart for Birmingham. At the edge of the opposite 18. Kavita. Let's credit Sumaro for finding Martinez to set that opportunity up. Pino did not hit that the way he wanted to. So with Pino and Pasher both on the field playing against the Indy 11, you've got two guys that are very high up the goals scored chart in Indy 11 history. Of course, Pino had 13 goals in 2022. We thought that was his comeback story. Then last year, in a more limited role, did not score in 18 appearances for the Indy 11. Well, he is back with a vengeance this year. 8 goals in league play. Brad, he was one of the 3 leading scorers in the Open Cup, right, scoring 4 times with Stefano.
Right, now he's found his touch again, and it's great to see because such a class guy. Really enjoyed his time here in Indy. The thing I loved about his time here, he never cheated a play. I mean, he chased down everything, every opportunity.
You would say winning is in his DNA, right?
I would say that,
Just like the state of Indiana, where winning is in our DNA. For more information, visit forthebold.com. Pasher, the target. Musa, the clearance. Quinn. And again, just a ball hit towards sweet number 3 to buy some time for the Indy 11. Of course, Tyler Pasher spent parts of 3 seasons with the Indy 11. Only played in this building twice, a pair of playoff matches, and scored once. That was in the 2019 Eastern Conference Championship match. Tyler then spent 2 years with the Houston Dynamo. Now second year back in this league, both with Birmingham Legion. He has not reached his goal-scoring heights as he did under Mark Rennie's tutelage with the Indy 11. But still very much a creator in terms of assists. And again, can find the back of the net when given the opportunity.
Yeah, I think when you take a look at what's been asked of him, he's a little bit more balanced here in Birmingham with goals and assists, whereas for about a year, maybe a year and a half, he was about the only option for Indy. So it was, hit it up top, and what we demanded of him, what we needed from him was that breakaway pace and to put the ball away.
Remember, his first game with the Indy 11 was the first game played at Lucas Oil, and we were mesmerized by his speed down the left-hand side in that game. And an injury limited his first year in 2018, scored just the 1 goal in a victory against North Carolina FC early in that season. But in 2019 and 2020, simply put, he was the man for the Indy 11. Martinez, Stanley, Malik Foster. Foster doing a good job of just kind of surveying the field and seeing what's available. But Blake and Foster being very fluid kind of on the interchange as to which side they're attacking from so far tonight.
I love that. I love when the coaching staff gives players that kind of freedom, and when the players can pick up on it and just read the game, get a feel for the game, and say, okay, let's complicate things a little bit for the decisions that the defenders need to make.
I used fluid to set up a transition to Brad Hodder, and he paused because he was busy drinking mom water. Refreshing fruit-infused vodka water with 0 carbonation, 0 sugar, 0 carbs, only 90 calories. Mom water is the perfect game day drink. Found in Indiana, now a proud sponsor of the Indy 11. And trust me, Brad was doing this. He was drinking and enjoying responsibly.
There was a time, remember, we used to have mom water in the booth.
Well, yeah, and the league frowned on that, probably, would be my guess. It was a one-and-done kind of scenario. Ball played wide, too far for Tabori Taka.
You can see the body language in a couple players for Birmingham right now changing as balls are a little bit mishit or overhit, or a run is not rewarded. You're seeing head go down, shoulders go down.
They have pulled just a point from their last 3 matches. Played Pittsburgh to a 1-1 draw a couple of weeks ago, but then back-to-back losses against North Carolina and Las Vegas, and obviously this one not going well to this point. But there's a lot of match left to go. But again, just some connections that are a bit off.
Right.
Offside flag was up in terms of the timing of that run.
The timing and the decision, I think that's a ball, maybe a pull back to Enzo Martinez where he can spray it to either side of the field because there's a little bit more space and opportunity here on the right.
In matches earlier today, Detroit winning over Miami. They are 4 points clear of the Indy 11 and potentially trying to lock up the number 3 seed. And going final, North Carolina beat Tampa Bay. There are 2 other matches taking place right now that directly impact both of these teams. Pittsburgh is leading Loudoun at Loudoun 2-0. That is in the second half. And Tulsa and Hartford are playing to a 1-1 draw. That is also in the second half at One Oak Field in Tulsa. We'll keep you updated on those matches as we go along. There is some serious scoreboard watching taking place in the East tonight. Tonight's match brought to you by the Keystone Group, specializing in transformational developments, construction, management, and investments. Stanley couldn't get the cross through Tyler Pasher. Tabori Taka, and Neidlinger does just enough to slow him down. I asked this question of Logan this week in terms of, because he's played as a back, he's played as a holding mid, he's played as a flank player this year. Again, he is so young in his career. Where do you see his future being in terms of positionally for this team or at a different level?
Yeah, I think it's too early to make that call right now because I've liked him in every role that they've given him. Now, he's got pace, he's got toughness. Because of that, I like him in the back line.
Does a good job to hit that off the opposing player to set up the goal kick.
He's got creativity. He's not afraid to pull the trigger, take guys on, so I like him in the attack. I think time's going to tell. I love the versatility in him, first of all. I mean, that's a player that you'd like to have options where you can plug holes wherever they are, but and I think we're still just in the early chapters to figure out what he's going to bring to the table.
Well, Logan was a guest on Soccer Saturday today on 93.5 and 107.5 The Fan, as was head coach Sean McCauley. And I hope you had a chance to listen. I had the pleasure of interviewing the voice of Wrexham AFC, Mark Griffiths, today. Of course, if you follow Welcome to Wrexham, he is the voice you hear commentating on all their matches, both men's and women's. You can go back and listen to the show anytime. Anchor.fm/Indy-11. And let me get on my soapbox just for a second here.
Okay, hold on. Let me stabilize it.
You got it? You good? Thanks.
Got it? Yep.
I weigh a lot, so yeah, it helps to stabilize it. Indy 11 is playing the Birmingham Legion.
Oh.
Wrexham is in contention atop the League One table in England with Birmingham. All right? Birmingham is in England. Birmingham is in Alabama.
Okay, I'm just jotting this down.
I will step off my soapbox right now.
Making sure I got this down so I don't go to the wrong one.
And while I have lived the vast majority of my life in Indiana. I spent a couple of formative years in northern Alabama, and my father, a native of St. Clair County, Alabama. So I think I know a little bit about the city in which the Indy 11 opponent is from today.
Well, you have just destroyed my trivia questions for today. Because it was all about your youth in Birmingham, right? Birmingham.
Correct.
Birmingham.
Right, exactly. But you can use those interchangeably. Again, Birmingham is in England. Birmingham is in Alabama.
Well, I tell you, I love the movement from Indy 11. I mean, the quick combinations, whether it's in the back line or the attacking third, they're just moving the ball really well tonight.
Musa. Here's Enzo Martinez, and frankly, a good sign for the Indy 11 as Foster commits the foul. The less from the Indy perspective, we talk about Enzo Martinez, that's a good thing for the Indy 11. I want to share with you my favorite Enzo stat.
Okay.
Throughout the course of tonight's game. I'll make sure that our story about Enzo doesn't get in the way of actual match play here. We'll save it for time when things are a bit more settled. Here's Dotson. Indy's goals within 3 minutes of each other. Good bending ball by Pasher that Hunter Salt will simply watch steer wide from Tabori Taka. Goal kick coming for the Indy 11. So this is the 33rd match of the season for both of these teams. Okay. Enzo Martinez has started all 33 matches for Birmingham this year. Enzo has subbed out 1 time this year for a total of 6 minutes. He turned 34 last month.
That's incredible.
Absolute warrior, isn't he?
What's incredible about it, too, is he's always in the mix. You know, he's a guy that is so creative that he gets a lot of touches, so he's always around the ball. He's going to be fouled. He's going to be in physical confrontations. At that age, to still be that consistently strong and on the field, it's just like that. You know, he's always going to be in the mix because the ball is, when it's at his feet, Birmingham's better.
Martinez on Martinez crime there as Douglas fouls Enzo. Of course, Enzo was a... I'm glad you like that.
It takes me a while. It's like a hand grenade.
It's like getting a spit take out of you during the course of the match. Enzo was in Charlotte forever, spent 1 year with the Rapids in Major League Soccer, went back to Charlotte. When they dropped down to League One, Enzo came to Birmingham, and now in his 3rd year playing for Tom Sohn. Ball finds Williams. Nodded back and forth. First year that those guys have played together, but there's been a natural connection between Augie and Dougie seemingly most of the year.
Yeah, and you know what? You throw Romario in there, and it's the same. They're reading each other really, really well. Romario Williams likely to appear in the second half of tonight's match.
And this ball, Dodson will sweep it back, trying to find Pasher. But Quinn, as per usual, knows the geometry of the game. Very hard challenge, but a clean play by Enzo Martinez. Just swipes that ball off the shin of Jack Blake.
Oh, impressive job to get out of that double team for Enzo.
Transitional moment here, but just 2 on the attack and not enough in it. Says Matthew Corrigan for a foul at the edge of the 18.
That's a good decision. Things were so congested in the middle. Pop it out wide. See if you can draw a couple of Indy players out wide. Open up some things in the middle.
Dotson, great tackle by Stanley. And then Blake leaves it for Martinez. Just could not get there in time. Fans, show your Indy 11 Prague, your exclusive IMCU Indy 11 debit card at any IMCU branch or online at imcu.com today. Last 2 times Indy has played Birmingham in this building, they have scored 4 times. Last year was one of the more lopsided wins for the Indy 11. 4-0 at home in a midweek match that was delayed significantly by rain and flooded field conditions. The match 2 years ago, Indy jumped out to a 3-0 lead. Birmingham came all the way back and tied it at 3 goals apiece before Indy got the game winner.
That was crazy.
No goals in the last 15 minutes for either of these two sides.
Did you cue the smoke again, or is it a fog that just came into the building?
It's just kind of hanging around at this point. We really have had outstanding weather here for the better part of the last 3 weeks. The leave. Hernandez Foster shot does not get through. Either Samaro or Neidlinger got in the way.
Nice little build to play the ball into a target at the top of the box, make some runs off of it. Well played for Birmingham.
They've had the better of possession since Indy got the second goal, but again, that's not going to do any damage. That ball from that spot that Salt simply pads his stats by smothering that one up. And we have a player down for the Indy 11, and I believe that is Martinez that is the injured player. So Josh Frankham will head out to tend to him, and immediately Mario Williams will start loosening up down the sideline. Martinez appearing in his 27th match of the season, his 21st start. His second year with the Indy 11, last played for Sacramento before making his way to Indianapolis early last season. And it's an embarrassment of riches in terms of the depth of the Indy 11. You've got guys named Sebastian Guenzati and Cam Lindley that aren't in the 18 tonight, nor is Adrian Deespay for the Indy 11. There's just a few all-league teams in those three guys.
It's incredible.
Put together.
And you look at the all-time goal-scoring list, and it's populated with 3 guys on this roster.
Populated by 3 guys that are in the game as well, with Enzo Martinez up on that list. Augie Williams, 76, 75.
Aiden Quinn didn't even factor in that conversation.
The top 50 as well.
50-50 guy.
Yeah, the league press release has a lot of guys playing in this game involved in it tonight. Well, when this match restarts, we'll do so at the Select Soccer Ball, the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com. The latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Martinez back to the 4th official. Dougie will soldier on as best he can for the Indy 11. He has been a player that has been so key in terms of his versatility since joining the team last year. And again, his flicked ball forced the own goal, had the assist on goal number 2. He has that level of impact most nights for the Indy 11. Salt with a line drive. And you hear Sean McCauley egging on Augie Williams to
it's worth it.
Push the pace and press. Neidlinger step for step with Tamori Baca.
And you hear assistant coach Gabe Zapponi applaud Augie's effort there, and that's one of the things too. It's sometimes it's a thankless task to keep chasing down and pressing balls. So when you got a player that's willing to do that, and then you got to give him a little pat on the back.
Moritaka tracks this one down. He joined Birmingham 2/3 the way through last year from Las Vegas. Normally he's been coming off the bench. He gets his 11th start of the season tonight. 2 goals. He has spent time with Charlotte, Vegas, Hartford, New Mexico, San Antonio, and Birmingham in this league. Neidlinger was great on Soccer Saturday this morning. Said, all right, now that you're on a pro contract, using team housing? He's like, nope, still living home with mom and dad. Talking about the 40-minute commute from the south side of Indianapolis to training every day.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it yet. I'm going to go back and listen to it. But did he say anything about how things might have changed in the locker room? Guys giving him any grief?
He said that guys have been great to him all season long. Logan became the first Academy player to score a goal for the Indy 11 in the loss to New Mexico back on August the 11th. And the youngest player in league in club history to have an assist. That was in the Miami match 3 weeks ago. Foster could not control it, but it will be a corner. And our favorite law office was getting worried. We hadn't mentioned their name yet. Wilson Kehoe-Winningham on the corner here in minute number 35.
You know, we get to see it every week, but I still get blown away watching the pace of Malik Foster in the open field.
He makes people who are fast look not fast, does he not? Quinn to send it in. A laser that gets to Martinez, but could not keep it on frame. So as Matt Van Oekel is about to restart things, let's thank our friends, Community Health Network. Exceptional care, simply delivered. Musa deemed to have done a little too much in terms of bringing down Stefano Pino. Musa got that goal for the Indy 11, his first last Tuesday in his 200th appearance in the league. And he really has been an extra piece since being brought on in early July. He has been kind of in case of need, break glass, and he's been ready. But he frankly has earned his stay in the lineup after what he did last week because of Adrian Despay picking up a pair of red cards in the span of 10 days. Stanley to Blake. To Augie Williams. Quinn. Good job by Hernandez Foster to close it down. Quinn couldn't pull that ball away from Pasher. Good looking run here. The hit turns into a ground ball. Rita Zuhir, first time really we have called his name. He is on loan from Montreal in Major League Soccer. We saw him at the end of last season when Indy and San Antonio played that amazing 3-3 draw to end the season. Rita had 8 goals in 25 matches played for Alan Marcina's squad a year ago. Cronali gets ahead to it first. Kavita digs in against Martinez.
Oh, that's trouble.
Blake just chests it down, and Quinn couldn't get the step right. It is rare that Aiden Quinn goes for goal. He's done it twice so far in tonight's match. Tonight's match is brought to us by Johnson Controls, the power behind your mission.
That's such a tough ball. You need it to drop a little bit more to be able to keep it on frame, but with the way that the defenders are closing you down, you just don't have the time to let it drop.
And since Indy got the second goal, Birmingham has controlled the possession of the match. Has yet to really create that dangerous moment in and around Hunter Sult. Martinez the takeaway. The back heel to Foster. He's got Williams and Blake to choose from. Blake didn't play that the way he would like to. He had his 10th goal of the season earlier tonight. Just his 4th from the run of play, by the way. 6 of his 10 goals have been from the penalty spot, including the one he scored against Birmingham back in June. Taboritaka. Dodson's got space. Pasher goes to the top of the 18. Now the flick finds Dodson, but Stanley gets there first. And Cronali with a two-handed shove that was certainly acknowledged by Matthew Corrigan.
Yeah, 7 minutes plus left in this half. If Birmingham is able to claw one back before the break, that would be huge for them.
See the infraction. By the way, no change in the scores that we'd updated earlier in terms of the other matches that affect these two teams in the playoff standings. Pittsburgh leading Loudon 2-0. And Tulsa, who again is in the Western Conference this year, so Tulsa is part of that fight on the other side. But Hartford and Tulsa are a 1-1 deadlock. Both those matches late second half. Charleston and Rhode Island set to get started soon. Martinez just sat down for Indy. I'm not sure Doug is going to be able to continue on past this point. So right now Indy playing a man down. Birmingham is not obligated to stop playing, and trailing by 2 goals, I wouldn't either. Here's Pasher. Asher trying to weave his way through the minefield. Martinez now trying to get back into the mix. Cronali.
Good counter opportunity.
Martinez chased that one, but again, I think wisely said, nah, no need to empty the tank on that. He may try to finish the half if he can. Pino. It's not the first time that Steph's played against the Indy 11. He did that for years. Fort Lauderdale, Miami.
You kept count on his
goal debt.
Yeah,
did
he ever
yes.
pay it back?
He's on the plus side.
Okay.
We'll see if that changes tonight. That's going to be a foul outside of the 18. Foul called against the Indy 11. So here's a set piece opportunity and a good chance for Birmingham to get one back from the edge of the 18. Yes, his goal debt was paid late in the 2022 season. Sumaro the guilty party in terms of the foul for the Indy 11. That was Moses Mensah, the defender, that was up on the attack on that one. Birmingham being deliberate here to make sure they are set. Final minutes of the half are brought to us by Sherwin-Williams, official paint sponsor of the Indy 11. Sherwin-Williams is the partner to the pro.
Yeah, on an angle like that, from that distance with the 6'7" goalkeeper in there, those windows are going to be tiny.
Doing so in front of the Brickyard Battalion. Ball off the wall and into the BYBA corner. Brought to us by our friends at Wilson Kehoe Winningham. First the match for Birmingham. Hernandez Foster is 21 years old to send this ball in. He'll play it short to Pasher. Foster using that speed to break up the play. Not out of danger just yet.
Oh, he had Enzo Martinez in the 18.
Foster, great leave. Even better cutback. And now Williams, if he can get the ball to Blake, and he's got another, again, good close down by Birmingham.
Great double team.
was his option, and then Hernandez Foster gives the foul. That's really well done by Malik Foster in the Indy 11.
Yeah, great job by Malik and Indy to get out in the counterattack, but brilliant from Birmingham to enact a double team here on Augie Williams on the side, because he had Blake and Martinez far side in one-on-one opportunities.
Tonight's match brought to you by Dormicaba, for every place that matters.
Good ball.
Heidlinger. Tabori Taka gets around him for a moment. Zuhir. Bending ball in. And Pina really couldn't get kind of his full weight behind. And Stanley. Musa could not get there in time. Indy 11 kind of caught of two minds here. Opportunity for Birmingham. This ball goes through, and again Salt has had a decent amount of traffic his way, but has had to do nothing other than some basic handiwork inside of the six so far tonight.
Terrific job from Neidlinger there. He's got so many different matchups, from Pasher to other guys coming in wide, and he's done great at not letting them turn the corner, at denying the early serve, at making the shots manageable for Hunter Salt from distance.
Salt's goal kick, though, left something to be desired, but then Pasher gives it right back to him. And Salt will just let some time trickle off the clock. Now he'll fire to Aiden Stanley. If you're looking for the best deal in town, check out the all-new Pabst Blue Ribbon deck the next time you're at Carroll Stadium for $3 PBRs all game long. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com and the 11 box office day of game. Pabst Blue Ribbon, because you deserve a blue ribbon, and I hope you have the chance to take advantage of this special in a couple of weeks. If the Indy 11 get a home playoff match, Foster latches onto this one on the crossing ball. Legion do enough to get in the way, but then could not keep possession. Yes, there have been 2 goals, and yes, there was 1 stoppage due to injury. I don't think there's going to be a lot of time remaining, as we'll start to glance toward the 4th official and see exactly how much time is left before we get to the end of festivities here in the half. And I think we may be without a working board tonight, judging by kind of the activities I'm seeing. Nope, now we got it. But how about that personal service by the 4th official? Walked to both coaches and said 2 minutes, and then went to the board and said 2 minutes. Blake plays it to the side. As William Gaither the third, our 4th referee tonight. An own goal by Fanuel Kavita. An absolute banger by Jack Blake. Then about 3 minutes of each other. Both coming in the opening 15, and it's been 2-0 ever since. Pasher up and over the bar. Can't watch the match? Put on Sirius XM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access. Tuesdays at 7 o'clock. Sometimes I catch the Wednesday afternoon replay, by the way. You get live matches from the USL, Major League Soccer, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. I think that's Josh Lauritsen and William Stark in the Capo stands tonight. Another great turnout by the Brickyard Battalion. Over 10,000 tickets out for tonight's match. And the weather forecast certainly doesn't hurt. Blake, Williams. Can Williams get there? No. But in a stadium first built for track and field, that was some impressive hurdling that Augie Williams just displayed.
And you got to give it to Van Oekel for reading it and coming off his line quickly.
There's a reason he's still playing in his late 30s. It's pretty darn good. We first saw him with FC Edmonton. And you were lucky in those days if you got a goal a month off of FC Edmonton. Right. Not just because Matt was so good, but the guys in front of him were so good as well.
What's crazy, they were so difficult to score on, but he was up in the top in the leading goalkeepers in saves. So they just gave him so much manageable opportunities. Plus, he's a fantastic goalkeeper.
That's the end of half number 1, and the song has remained the same for the last 30-plus minutes. Despite Van Oekel's best efforts, the Birmingham Legion trail 2-0. Jack Blake, his 10th goal of the season. Fanuel Kavita had the tallies and own goal, the one before that. Coach McCauley now is standing by and ready. Let's get to him now. Obviously, Coach, you love where you're at. 2 goals to the good. Just overall, your thoughts on the opening 45 minutes.
I thought we started the game really well, obviously, and a lot to play for in this game for us, being the last regular season home game, so we wanted to have a good start. And I think we got the reward in the 2 goals. Been a little bit sloppy since, the last 10 minutes. We've had chances where we can, play a final pass, and it just needs to be a little bit better. I think, we've got to clean that up in the second half.
How much do you think Dougie's got left, knowing seemingly he was kind of bothered a couple of times by injury?
Strange one, Josh went on and treated him for what was a stamp, then he went down, and then he seems to recover really quick. He wants to play the game all the time. Just got to show him that there's a bigger picture, and we'll have people ready to come on if he does have to come off.
As always, my friend, thank you. Talk to you after the match.
Thank you.
Sean McCauley, head coach of the Indy 11, always so gracious with his time at the beginning of halftime. Again, scores from elsewhere around the league. They are of great importance to both of these teams. But most importantly for the Indy 11, take care of your own business. They've done it so far. They lead it 2-0.
bailar como el mambo. Cuando tú lo escuchas te enloqueces bailando.
It's very true that it takes a village to raise a child. And when it comes to my healthcare village at Community Health Network, it's all nestled right in my phone. Accessing healthcare is the ability to be connected with your provider and ask a question when you need it. I feel like when I'm meeting with a community nurse practitioner or doctor, they're tuned in to what is going on with me and the way that they can serve me best.
Stand by me.
And the winner of the Indianapolis 500.
Indiana, winning is in our DNA. And we're winning the future with $22 billion in new business investment, building an economy of the future with unprecedented momentum. Indiana, for the winners.
Fun night at the home pitch for the Indy 11 fans. Again, they know a win tonight would go a long way for them to see another match. Although they're great about traveling wherever they need to, they'd love to be here. What would be a Sunday, November the 3rd, Eastern Conference quarterfinal. 2 goals to good, leading Birmingham at halftime. Indy 11 would like to take a moment to acknowledge all of those affected by Hurricanes Helene and Milton in recent weeks. If you're able, please scan the code on the screen or visit redcross.org/donate. Support the American Red Cross and their efforts to help communities affected by these devastating storms. Let's talk about the Eastern Conference table now at this point. Again, there have been a couple of matches that have already been updated today. One of those is Detroit City winning against Miami, which is by no means a surprise, but makes it a bit tougher for Indy to get to that number 3 position against Detroit. The other game that has gone final is Tampa Bay dropping another one. They lose at North Carolina, and you'll note that that puts North Carolina in 8th. The Pittsburgh match has not gone final yet, but the table is updated as if, again, because it's live, as if they're going to win. So they're back in the playoffs, and as we have said all season, never underestimate a Bob Lilly coach team.
Yeah, you know, you're looking at it, they've never missed the playoffs with them, and you just figure it's going to happen. And, you know, with a game to go here, they got themselves back above the line.
But again, Tampa Bay is currently in 6th, and of note, Indy will finish at Tampa Bay next weekend. And again, that will be played at IMG Academy in Bradenton. Now, let's talk about what the USL and its member clubs are doing to help in this scenario. Again, Lou City raised over $20,000 with their match last week against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay had to go to North Carolina and lost that match. So now the Hartford match on Wednesday, which is the makeup from September the 28th, and then the regularly scheduled season finale against the Indy 11, both played at IMG Academy. As a note, we will telecast that match against Tampa Bay next Saturday, 7:30, My Indy TV. And Brad and I will have all remaining Indy 11 matches, home or road, either on Wish TV or My Indy TV for the remainder of the season. And while Indy wants to get the full 3 points against the Rowdies next Saturday, we're all in the fight to recover from these storms together. We send our best thoughts and wishes. If you got a little extra coin to send the way of the folks in Southwest Florida, again, go to the Red Cross at the QR code you saw earlier in this segment. Halftime conversation comes your way next. We'll update you from those scores from elsewhere around the league. Here in Indianapolis, 2-0 in favor of the home team.
I'm a happy-go-lucky guy, but sometimes I get a little stressed because I'm not for sure what's going to happen down the road. I was at the cancer unit, and when I come out from seeing the doctor, I said something about needing some help with all the paperwork. They gave me a name and a phone number. Her name is Molly. She works over at Community. She tells me, stop worrying. Let me take care of it. She is my angel.
Stand by me.
Is it somebody's birthday?
Dad, come watch us hit this ugly piñata.
Dad!
When hornets show up, so do we. Terminix it. We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Welcome to Do or Die. Welcome to stories that give meaning to it all. The juggernaut chasing history. The hero hoping for a Hollywood ending. The upstart determined to make the most of its shot at glory. Welcome to second-guessing everything. Every coach's decision. Every referee's call. Every pass, shot, tackle, save. Because you know it all means more now. Welcome to the playoffs.
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Yeah, trick. I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead.
Back at Carroll Stadium on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and My Indy TV 23. Greg Rakestraw and Brad Hutter. Again, Indy, a 2-goal lead here at the break. We'll update you on scores in a matter of moments. Let's first go news and notes from around the USL Championship. Some of the storylines that we're keying on with just a week of regular season play left to go. Davion Kimbrough gets a call up to the U15 squad for the upcoming training camp. El Paso Locomotive wins Copa Tejas after a 2-2 draw against San Antonio last week. And Rhode Island, well, they played Indy 11-1 draw. They played 13 others. And right now they're 0-0 with the Battery. But you can talk about all the draws. That means they've been getting points. Conno Smith's team's going to be a playoff team by the looks of it.
Right, and even though they started a little bit slow as far as points and they were down at the bottom of the table, once we saw them play, we recognized that we both said that they're going to be in the mix at the end of the year.
Our news and notes are brought to us by Tiger Ball. So let's update you on scores now from the Eastern Conference. And again, the Pittsburgh game has now gone final as they beat Loudoun United 2-0. Hartford and FC Tulsa may be playing like 120 minutes at this point in time, but Hartford has that lead 2-1. Scoreless in terms of Charleston and Rhode Island. And Detroit did get a late third goal as they dispatch of Miami FC. The other matches, frankly, are either going to be West Coast matches or Western Conference matches. And honestly, the Lou City match at 8:30 does not figure into the playoff table because they're the number 1 seed. Here was what the race looks like out west. Monterey and El Paso have been eliminated. Tulsa has to win, and they're trailing Hartford, so there may be an E next to their name any second now. And it's rare that San Antonio's on the outside looking in, but that's the position they are looking in. Of course, everybody is battling for the playoffs, and check out all the exciting postseason action as the USL playoffs led by Terminix kick off in November. The top teams will battle out for the ultimate prize. Go to USLChampionship.com for the latest playoff information. Second half is moments away. Indy leads Birmingham 2-0 on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and My Indy TV.
The main part of my job is definitely listening. People deserve transparency. I don't want the financial part to be something that stops or hinders a patient from having the health care that they need. I try to treat each person like they're my mom or my grandmother, my daughter, my husband. I want them to know that they're not just another phone call for us. And it's very rewarding to know that I can provide peace of mind.
Meet Chip. 30 years ago, he started a small business with a big idea. Today, there's a new building, a new fleet of equipment, and a new era of leadership. But we know Chip, and at Indiana Members Credit Union, we know he plans to keep growing, building business with the next generation. IMCU is here to help with secure and simple account management tools and commercial financing to grow business. Today, it's all about Chip. Tomorrow, it's all about you. Because at IMCU, it's you that matters.
When your cat's a meme and your dog is too.
And it's hard to know what's fake or true.
Just raise a glass with a friend or two.
You tell them more, tell them more, tell them more, do.
When the online trends keep getting worse.
And you lost your keys in the metaverse.
Now your right swipe just went left on you.
You tell them more, tell them more, tell them more, do. It's a crazy world, so what do? You tell them more, tell them more, tell them more.
At Security Federal, our flexible banking solutions mean your financial future has never been brighter. Our business options will keep you one step ahead of the competition, and the communities we serve can depend on us to be there when it counts. At Security Federal Savings Bank, flexibility means everything because it's all about you. Now offering free business and personal checking. Call or visit us online today.
Simply delivered, and by your Central Indiana Ford dealers. Your Central Indiana Ford dealers are a proud sponsor of Indy 11 Soccer. Visit your local Ford dealer today for great deals on your favorite Ford vehicle. Second half action is not too far away. We'll show you some highlights from half number one in a matter of moments. But Brad, just kind of overall thoughts as to what you saw in the first 45 and what Indy has to do to see this one through.
Well, really liked the way that they moved the ball. I thought the combination play and I thought the ball movement in tight spaces was brilliant. The one thing that they have to do is they've got to hold off from conceding and making this a 2-1 game. Then the energy and momentum swings to Birmingham, and they must have the 3 points, so you just can't give them a heartbeat here in the second half.
Well, Douglas Martinez made his impact felt in the opening 50 minutes. Again, the flick that Fanuel Kavita then turned in for a goal. Then the assist to find Jack Blake for his 10th goal of the season. Again, Hunter Salt has been solid, has not had to be spectacular. He saw a lot of traffic in the 30 minutes after those 2 goals were scored at the other end of the park for him. And Augie Williams, if he didn't factor in a goal, he was outstanding up top for the Indy 11.
Yeah, he is pressing that back line. They keep finding the little pockets, and they're just missing by a little.
So with that, we kind of suspected that we might have seen the end of Douglas Martinez for the match, and that is the case. So Mario Williams, who, again, I think was going to come on at about the 60-minute mark anyway, just has that sped up by about 15 minutes. So it's now Williams and Williams up top for the Indy 11. Romario Williams now joining Augie Williams. Could be the final 45 minutes in this building for the season. Again, a win certainly helps to give that opportunity for it not to be the case. Indy last hosted a playoff game here at the end of October, early November of 2019. Last year on the road for one game against the Charleston Battery that really did not go well.
Good read by Musa.
And Musa in for Dees Pay tonight. Is there much of a drop-off or change between Musa and Dees Pay at this point?
No, I've been really happy with the consistency that Musa's brought.
James, a native of New Zealand, and has played in 200 matches in this league. Got his first Indy 11 goal in the road win against Loudoun last Tuesday. Musa went from playing against Pittsburgh on August 31st to not playing again until October the 5th against Lou City. Quinn lets that one go, but a miscue there.
Trouble.
Hernandez Foster has Pino to his right. Pino with 4 bodies around him tries to slide it through.
Great recovery from Indy 11. 6 bodies track back and get inside the 18.
But not done yet. Pasher at the edge of the 18. Now Indy has 8 behind the ball. Martinez trying to find a window.
Yeah, I talked earlier about Aiden Quinn being that guy that just sees that little pressure release just outside the 18 for anybody that gets into trouble. Martinez is doing the same thing for Birmingham.
Now Pasher. Zuhair has a hit, and that one.
Yeah, that's a frustration shot. I mean, you're 25 yards out, and you got 15 players in front of you.
I think the landing flaps have come up, and that one cleared the tower. That thing just kind of elevated quickly as it exited Indianapolis airspace. Tonight's match is brought to us in part by Dormicaba. Dormicaba for every place that matters. It's just me, or has Hunter gotten some new ink on his arms?
I don't know.
Has he had that the entire season?
No, he's had ink, but I don't know if he's picked up anything.
Well, if he continues to have a clean sheet, he may join the postgame show. We can ask him. Romario and Augie not on the same page. And Romario missed the last 2 Indy 11 matches on international duty. Indy had already kind of planned for him to come off the bench against Lou City. They thought that Romario would stay and that Douglas Martinez would go on international duty for Honduras. They'd kind of planned the minutes that way, and then those roles kind of reversed. So Romario hadn't played much in the last 3 matches for the Indy 11. 2 goals for Indy, had 2 goals for the Switchbacks before making the change to the Indy 11. Neidlinger and Ofemu eventually connect to send that ball sideways, and a throw in coming here for Birmingham. Your Central Indiana Ford dealers are a proud sponsor of Indy 11 soccer. Visit your local Ford dealer today for great deals on your favorite Ford vehicle. Ford presenting tonight's Fan Appreciation Night. Zuhir. Traffic that Sumaro clears for an instant. And then that's going to be a foul, I believe, whistled against Birmingham. Sumaro, the native of Guinea, but really spent his formative years in the Netherlands and played there for 7 years before making his way in the Canadian Premier League the last couple of seasons. Joined the Indy 11 in early September. He was the last player added before the roster freeze. He has been inserted in the starting lineup basically ever since. Sumaro couldn't make the turn.
Good pressure.
Anytime that ball is in retreat, that's a win for the Indy 11, protecting a 2-goal lead. Williams got knocked aside by Kavita, but no whistle comes from it. Good pressure by Mario. Williams gets the takeaway. Cut back from Blake. Williams thought that Augie might make the corresponding run.
It's a great thought because it's a blindside run. Birmingham wasn't ready.
Here's Moses Mensah.
Oh, Enzo Martinez just laid a perfect ball out there.
Neidlinger plays this one towards you and me. Always a safe play if you're an Indy 11 defender, not if you're an attack-minded player. Our broadcast location just behind the team benches here. Very unique in terms of our vantage point on the match. We get to hear a lot of the conversations from coaches to players and fourth officials. That will be played off of Tamori Taka by Neidlinger. Not the first Indy 11 Academy player to sign a pro contract, but frankly, he is the kid on an Academy deal that has had the biggest impact on the Indy 11. Look at us from Greg Sharton's camera angle from above the BYB. We are much better looking from that distance. Keep backing out. There you go. Musa. Right idea. Stanley just kind of threw the brakes on. And Van Oekel will play it right back in the spot that Stanley had tried to vacate. Foster. What a nifty move.
Clever.
His speed and skill on display tonight. And then, again, he couldn't get to it. Tried to go to the turf to draw a whistle. Foster has the soccer brain engaged tonight.
Oh, that little flick over the defender and nutmeg in Detroit. That thing has about 10 million views.
Community Health Sports Medicine is the official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. Exceptional care simply delivered. Foster acquired in mid-August from the Switchbacks. Joined the team in time for the Open Cup semifinal against Sporting Kansas City. Has 1 goal since joining the Indy 11. Mensah. Good looking ball here. Could have been dangerous, but nothing comes of it. It was last touch by Stefano Pino.
Yeah, we saw it during his time here. Pino's great in the air.
By the way, it has gone final in Tulsa. Hartford gets a mammoth 3 points on the road. They win in Tulsa, 2-1. Tulsa now knows their season will end next weekend. Tonight's match is brought to us by the Denny Company. He's tearing down the past so you can build the future. Hartford doesn't have to win out, but it would certainly help. Again, Hartford has the midweek makeup match against the Rowdies, and understandably the Rowdies have been struggling given everything they have dealt with. They've had some injury issues through the course of the year as well. We saw them maybe at their apex in July when they looked really good. Ball sent in, a touch that Neidlinger clears back and not in danger just yet. Mensah,
what a turn.
Inside of the 18, weaving his way through, taps it home. That's a goal for Birmingham. And Birmingham gets one back. It's 2-1 in the 54th minute. Well, Neidlinger's clearance wasn't the best, but again, you said it. The turn by Mensah was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, he danced through a triple team. That was a ball that probably should have been just let it run out of bounds and let it go. But look at this. 3 players around him, dances through. And, of course, who's hanging out in the 6?
Stefano Pino taps it home. So his 9th goal of the season. You include Open Cup play, that's 13 for Steph. Bram Sumaro done for the night. Lawrence Wotton comes on for the Indy 11. So 2 subs now in there.
A little bit of life now for the Legion.
No, frankly, they have been the better team for the better part of the last 40 minutes. Ever since that second goal was slotted home by Blake. It's been Birmingham that's been kind of asking most of the questions. So back to a 1-goal game. This one not done yet. And Wotton has seen his minutes reduced to some degree as the season gone along. Great read by Stanley. Has 2 players to choose from inside of the 18. Picks Blake instead. Blake. Foster. Foster.
Oh, so that's so well defended.
What? Good touch. Augie Williams. Ball's right back to him. And then Neidlinger's touch was a bit off, and Hayden Quinn bailed him out. An Indy 11 fan base that's kind of been sitting on their hands for the last good chunk of this match, but home side hasn't given them much since those 2 rapid-fire goals to start the match. And again, with North Carolina and Pittsburgh winning tonight, Brad has said it throughout the course of the match, but Birmingham needs 3 tonight. Right now they're getting none. Williams, the last touch, throw in coming for the visitors.
Yeah, there's still plenty of time left in this match. And if they hit that second one, it's going to be a frenzy to close this out.
Again, a win or a draw, good enough in terms of clinching a playoff spot for the Indy 11. You get all 3 points, and again, now you control your destiny, knowing if you win next week against the Rowdies, you get a home playoff berth the following weekend. Mensah. Good for Tabori Taka Ofemu. Does just enough. That will be a corner. Brought to us by Wilson Kehoe Winningham. Zuhir that quickly heads to the corner flag. Kavita comes up into the attack now for the Legion. Cronali and Pino kind of hanging around the 6. This ball intended for Cronali and finds him, but not in a spot where he can do much with it.
Yeah, a little bit of pressure kind of obstructed his ability to drive that ball back across the 6.
And Neidlinger. Blast, this one's toward Jack Blake. Blake and Enzo Martinez, I guarantee those two have battled over the years. And what navigates it well to Malik Foster. Indiana winning is in our DNA. For more information, visit forthebold.com. Romario Williams finds his once and former teammate Malik Foster. From Jamaica, played college soccer at Central Florida, where his roommate was Gabe Saponi on the Indy 11 coaching staff. Stanley. Romario Williams the target, but Enzo Martinez sniffed that play out. The takeaway by Romario Williams. He goes down, and that will be a foul. And there's been just a few too many casual giveaways. I wouldn't say at the back, but in the midfield for Birmingham. And you've got some players that can do something from this distance. Both Blake, Quinn, and Romario Williams come to mind. Romario scored his first Indy 11 goal in a similar distance at the opposite end of the field to get a point back from Pittsburgh on Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, you got a full wall, so now you're standing over that ball and you're looking, seeing can you get it up and down, and is there enough space on either side of Van Oekel?
It's going to be Romario Williams. Romario Williams got it on target, but Van Oekel had it read the entire way. Quickly at the other end of the park, and Salt will sky this one. Blake couldn't win the foot race. Cronale does.
That was a great thought by Quinn. Just a one-touch ball into space. Oh,
how about that turn?
My goodness.
That was Zuhir. Makes the overlapping run, and Neidlinger does just enough, and it will be a goal kick for Hunter Salt. Tonight's match brought to us by McGowan Insurance Group. They and Auto Owners Insurance have teamed up to make tailored insurance policies for your family. Elliot Collier amongst those. Starting to loosen for the Indy 11. Callum Chapman-Page, Josh O'Brien, Ben Mines are the other four field players available for selection. Of course, Yannick Odell has been the backup goalkeeper for now most of the season for the Indy 11, having only appeared twice since the end of April. Romario Williams had it for a moment. Pasher nudged away by Augie Williams, but couldn't keep him in the field of play. Fans, you can show your Indy 11 pride. Get your exclusive IMCU Indy 11 debit card at any IMCU branch or online at imcu.com today.
Well closed.
Williams, Romario, and Augie not on the same page so far tonight.
Well, I think, Romario saw that Augie was in a 1v1 with Cronale and thought, I just got to get it into the space behind Cronale and let Augie use his speed. Just mishit it.
Mensah. Tamori Taka in front of him. Thinking not enough there. Matthew Corgan had a good look at it. Foster's ball taken away, and Afemu only cleared it as far as Pasher. Pasher on the cut back, and Hunter Salt will just step on it. It is a crisp evening weather-wise. It has not been a crisp evening in terms of clearances nor passes in the midfield from either side. Temperatures now falling into the upper 50s as the sun set right before kickoff here in this regular season home finale. Season extended by 2 weeks this year. This was the first playoff week a year ago.
Good find.
Williams lines it up. Williams!
That's well held. Van Okel's vision was a little bit obstructed, and that ball's dipping.
Van Okel getting his 22nd start of the season. Even with 74 saves. 7th in league history in terms of saves made. Foster the takeaway. Foster with 3 options to his left. Foster comes in. Foster goes down. Won't get the whistle.
Yeah, that's a good no call.
Then the giveaway by Birmingham. Quinn tried to find Williams' back post and deliver the ball that he wanted to. Pina's trying to hold things up to find a teammate. That he does in Pasher. Tabori Taka off the races, but Team of the Week member Ben Afemu doing what he has done all season long. Erasing threats.
He has just been so steady.
His 7th year in the championship. We first saw him with the Bethlehem Steel back in 2018.
Has he missed a match? I mean, he and Stanley have been penciled in all season, correct?
Stanley has missed 1 match. Afemu is up there with the team leaders in terms of matches played. He didn't get here till mid-April. Joined the team April 11th. Made his debut against Charleston April the 13th. He's had to play most every day because of the injury to Callum Chapman-Page, who has not played since the Open Cup semis. And again, he is available for selection off the bench if needed tonight.
Good job by the Legion to break the front press from Indy.
Switching the sides of the attack, but Neidlinger will just nudge this one forward towards the Indy 11 bench. And eventually, Javita elects to play it because it didn't seem to be heading out of bounds. Tonight's match is brought to us by 450 North Brewing, innovation and creativity through libations. Martinez to Mensah.
2v1.
Tabori Taka. Neidlinger plays it off of him and finds Foster. Check and check. And Williams asking for a foul from Kibita, did not get it. It has been a largely whistle-free match, and especially in the second half. Martinez. Mensah. And it'll be a corner kick brought to us by Wilson Kehoe-Winningham.
Yeah, great stuff by Wotton here. Every time they get isolation on Neidlinger, Wotton pops back in there and just compresses that space a bit more.
So here to steer this one in for Birmingham. A little conversation will take place first. I mentioned the fact that there's a trio of players in on loan. Zahir did not get to Birmingham until August, getting his 6th start of the season. Nervy ball here that Afemu got to first. And Quinn will just hit this one towards the Brickyard Battalion. Pasher has to range all the way back and completely allow things to reset from the Birmingham perspective. Match is brought to us by your Central Indiana Ford dealers, proud sponsor of Indy 11 soccer. Rhode Island has jumped out to a 1-0 lead on Charleston. Again, Charleston seemingly has had the #2 seed locked up since August. Rhode Island continues their outstanding play. Stanley.
Great read. He took off as soon as that ball was played.
Not only did he time the tackle well, he kept it in play, and now here's the break for the Indy 11. 4 options to pick from Stanley, and didn't find one, but all is not lost yet. Stanley looking for Blake, couldn't get it through. Whatton the touch, Williams the hold, and then Williams the foul as Martinez goes to the ground. Tabori Taka with some space to work with, might call his own number here, gets it back and just scuffs it. That should have been 2-2.
Great little build-up.
Absolutely should have been 2-2.
Pasher finding him back inside the penalty stripe and just couldn't convert.
Well, Indy hanging on by the skin of their teeth here.
Oh, what build-up.
It really has been all Birmingham for the better part of the last 50 minutes of this match. That ball never really kind of got to him. Neidlinger did just enough to blow that up.
Oh, that touch from Pasher, brilliant.
That's a foul on Augie Williams. As Birmingham resets, let's thank our friends the Morales Group. Staffing agencies find jobs, we build futures. Ben Mines will be the next player to come on for the Indy 11. See if he was maybe Foster or Blake, one of the two you would think is whom Ben would be coming on for. Maybe even Neidlinger at the right back position. We'll see. Ben was a staple of the lineup from when he was acquired from Miami till the end of the summer, and his playing time has been somewhat limited over the last month and a half, 2 months of the season. Whatton. The flick, but it finds Martinez. This is where Birmingham has done their damage, is attacking from this left side. Zuhair, nobody stops him. He has a hit, and it sent Salt sprawling, but it was never on target.
That had a little bit of a tail on it. It had eyes for that far post, and when you don't get somebody stepping up to the ball and you give them a free look, you're gonna have situations like that.
And for Zuhair, he was trying to find a teammate. Then we realized that no one was closing him out. He's like, all right, I'll give this a go. It is Malik Foster that Mines will be replacing, as he has now made his way to the 4th official. Quinn. Augie Williams. Possession very short-lived right now for the Indy 11. Neidlinger. Shoulder and not arm. Good touch by Blake. And Romario Williams do something with it. And Kavita gets whistled for the foul. And now Mines will come on. Ben Mines is playing in this league since 2016, but he's just 24 years of age.
Incredible.
And again, like we said, he has played a decent amount this year, but not lately. This is his 24th match of the season. He started against Hartford on September the 7th. Didn't play again until October the 8th. But he'll come on trying to see this match out. Now, by the way, Indy has one more sub window available because they did sub a player at halftime when Romario Williams came in for Douglas Martinez. So one more sub window available. The Legion have yet to make a substitution in this match. Blake.
Great run.
Whatton have a hit. Whatton.
Wow.
And Opal got a hand to it. That was going for the top of the goal. That'll be a corner kick brought to us by Wilson Kehoe Winningham. Whatton's only goal came back on July the 5th in that 3-3 draw against Rhode Island.
A great strike from Lawrence Whatton. Look at this ball. Lays up perfectly for him.
Two-time Big Ten midfielder of the year from Ohio State. The native of England in his first professional season on loan from the Chicago Fire. It's Stanley. He would love to set that team record for assists on the season right here. Goes back post, and Williams' ball goes right to Matt Van Oekel. As Matt Van Oekel will simply slide it to a teammate. Gives us a chance to talk about eFootball 2024. It's here. Live your dream. Rep your team. Play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. And that ball simply has way too much air in it. If you're going to play the ball to Tyler Pasher, give him space to run. I'm not sure he's got that level of hops.
Uncharacteristic misplayed ball by Enzo.
Usually count those on one hand per match, if that many. Tonight's match is brought to us by Johnson Controls, the power behind your mission. Asher trying to work around Mines. Pino the hold-up play. And Pino had the goal in the second half that has brought the Legion back within one. And doesn't a win is not mathematically needed, but it certainly makes life a lot easier for Birmingham. Right now they're trying to get back to a point. Again, of that 4-team group, sitting on 42 points coming in. Pittsburgh won, North Carolina won. And Hartford has gotten to 43 with a match in hand with their win tonight in Tulsa. Birmingham trying to stay in the conversation. Dodson. And Stanley does just enough. Williams. Blake.
He does just enough, and then he's out immediately on the attack.
Ball finds Augie Williams. Ball finds Jack Blake. And Blake fouled. Now you're maybe to the point where you take an extra few seconds on every restart if you're the Indy 11. You see one player starting to head to the bench for the Legion as they have had their starting 11 go the first 76 minutes of the match. Darwin Mateos will be the player that is making his way to the fourth official momentarily. And you never can be too safe. So Jack is just relacing the boots just to make sure that everything's in working order.
Up. Yep.
Safety first.
That is true. Got to make sure your shoes are tied.
What?
Good find.
Mines to his right. That's who plays the ball to him. Mines on the cross. Took a couple of turns, and Martinez can step on it. Pino held up by Ofemu. Martinez
just got a little bit out in front of him. Took his eyes off it. He was starting to look for where space was to deliver the ball. And just touched it a little heavy.
With the bounding ball found Mensah, who frankly has been a key piece of the attack for Birmingham here in half number 2. Pasher in space. Now Williams tries to slide between Kavita and Cronali, and again, late whistle with the right whistle. And again, have there been stronger fouls? Of course, but Williams would have broken free if that had not been the case.
Yeah, Kavita was holding him up, hoping that Cronali could come in and clean up that ball, and just took a hop that Cronali wasn't anticipating, and then that's when Kavita grabbed Romario a little stronger.
Mateos will come on as Kobe Hernandez-Foster exits for the Birmingham Legion. And Elliot Collier will be the final sub of the night for the Indy 11. He's not to the fourth official yet. But as has been the case for most of the season, Collier will see time off the bench for the boys in blue. Tonight's game is brought to us by Jack Daniel's Country Cocktails, a flavorful toast to togetherness. Lynchburg lemonades all around if the Indy 11 hang on to this 2-1 lead. Blake. Legion got there first. Martinez rockets it all the way back to midfield to Neidlinger. Blake slides it past Cronali. Williams tries to make the turn and again won't get that contact inside of the 18. Good run here though by Indy to keep the attack alive. Ball finds Mines. Right idea. And again, Williams not happy about the contact to the back end of the play. And I guarantee you, he and Kavita have had their battles in the past. And a yellow is shown to Augie Williams. And I would think the same will be shown to Fanuel Kavita. Let's see. Or if it's just one directed to Augie Williams. Right now, it's just Augie, which I would disagree with. I would say both parties would be guilty in that scenario. A lot of the volunteer officials in the Brickyard Battalion feel the same way. For Augie, that is his fourth yellow of the season. There's only one Indy 11 player in danger of kind of that yellow card accumulation issue, and it's Callum Chapman-Page, who hasn't played in 2 months.
Right. So his yellow card per game rate is at the highest level.
Correct. He hasn't had games to play to get the good behavior points to bring him back down. He's been stuck in yellow card purgatory for some time. So Collier has made his way to the fourth official if it gets to him. Musa and Pino was offside. And now Elliot Collier will get waved in. So for Elliot, this will be his 29th appearance of the season. He has started twice. So Brad, my trivia question for you tonight is this. Elliot Collier has played basically a season and a third with the Indy 11. That third of a season dates back to 2018, the first in the USL Championship. Where does Elliot Collier rank in club history in terms of appearances as a substitute?
In a season and a third.
In his career, yes.
Well, Don Smart's got to be one.
Hunter Salt with the reset button. Brad making a statement of fact, thinking I would confirm it as he's trying to answer the question.
I would say 3.
Check out the big brain on Brad.
Yeah.
Now can you name the other player in front of him as Wotton keeps that ball in play?
Don Smart, which you gave me no confirmation on.
Don Smart is one as Romario Williams donates this ball to the Indianapolis Zoo. Goal kick coming for Matt Van Oekel. So Don Smart is one of the 2 players in front of Elliot Collier in terms of substitute appearances. Whom is the other?
I'm trying to focus on the game right now.
Oh, okay, because you don't have the answer. This man made an appearance in this building earlier this year.
Okay, that narrows it down to about 300 players.
Good looking turn here. Pasher at the edge of the 18. Again, Mensah makes the overlapping run, and Neidlinger gets in the way. Throw in coming for the Birmingham Legion. I'll give you the answer in the next stop.
Give it, because I gotta stop thinking about it. So give it to me.
Well, Don Smart is second in club history in sub appearances with 40. Matt Watson made 41 over the course of 3 years.
El Capitan coming in late.
Mensah on the throw. Elliot Collier now has made 37 appearances as a sub in less than a year and a half with the Indy 11. Pasher's ball in. Afemu got to it. Jack Blake a touch, and here is Collier. Reprising role as the super sub for the Indy 11. He scored 5 times this year. That ball is played off a Birmingham Legion player. A throw in coming for the Indy 11. Tonight's match is brought to us by the Keystone Group, specializing in transformational developments, construction management, and investments. I could feel the pace of your mind slow down as the pace of the game picked up as you were trying to answer said question.
You could hear it. You could hear the thinking.
I thought I heard some grinding of gears not far from me. That'll be a foul against Indy. Blake with the trip. The restart quick. The read by Neidlinger, sublime. Mines to his right.
How about it?
Neidlinger goes for goal, and Neidlinger gets down about 4 rows up into the BYB, but earns applause from his teammates for the effort for the 19-year-old. And there are some players in their teenage years that play in this league and get a lot of notoriety and acclaim. Logan's going to play at a Division II school this fall. He's going to play at the University of Indianapolis and kept getting so many minutes and kept getting so much playing time and realized, you know what? Maybe I should just turn pro right now. He was signed to a full contract last week.
Yeah, put yourself in the shoes of the coaching staff at Indy. You're thinking, oh my gosh, we've got this diamond in the rough. He slipped through the cracks of IU, Butler, Notre Dame.
And Hunter Salt, after that vigorous effort, takes a moment to collect his thoughts on the IU Indy Carroll Stadium turf. Indy done with their subs for the night. Birmingham still has several to choose from. Here's Blake. Blake trying to find a window. Blake again goes down. Not enough in it, says the referee. Mateos. That's going to be a foul on Quinn. Quinn offers his hand up to Darwin, the 23-year-old. Indy has not found the back of the net in the last 70 minutes. They maintain a 1-goal advantage. And a win or a draw clinches a playoff spot for the Indy 11. A win allows them to control their own destiny. A win next Saturday, they're playing their playoff match at home. As Mines is fouled and draws the contact. And just to point out the logistics, if the Indy 11 hosts a playoff match in 2 weeks, it would be a Sunday match. And let me explain why. This venue is the home of both IU Indy men's and women's programs, but also the IHSAA state finals, which will take place on November the 1st and 2nd. So if Indy does get a home playoff game, it'll be Sunday, November 3rd. And as always, tickets are available 317-685-1100, Indy11.com/tickets, and the Indy 11 app. Mines.
Well, I'm glad you explained that because a lot of people thought.
Mines again on the cross and finish. What his second Indy 11 goal of the season. A 2-goal lead for the boys in blue, and it's looking like back-to-back playoff trips for the Indy 11.
What a ball across the box, and what a great one-touch finish by Lawrence Whatton.
And how about Ben Mines? But again, has really rarely featured the last 6 weeks.
Right.
Makes the play, gets the cross away, and it leads the Indy 11 goal. We talked about the depth of this team being a strength. You've seen that tonight.
Yeah, and you look to it at the excitement from not just the teammates of Lawrence Whatton, because he's just a favorite of the team, but then also the relief. They've been weathering this Legion storm as they're trying to claw this back into a draw, and that just put it away.
Demon the wet boat will come on for Tyler Pasher. Pasher sees his night come to an end. And frankly, Birmingham has played better than this result might indicate, but results are results. And Indy's found a way to get 3 goals and likely all 3 points tonight, which would put them over the 50-point mark on the season as well. And for a third consecutive home win against the Legion. Over the last 3 years, they have scored 11 times in those 3 matchups. Mines gets a foot in the way. Not enough there. And again, that's been consistent with how this match has been called by Matthew Corrigan all night. And Birmingham has to go to Oakland, and they will be in need of some help unless they can find a way to pull 2 in the closing minutes. Here's Elliot Collier. Williams.
Good build.
Collier. Mines to his right.
3v3.
Williams to his left. He chooses to play Williams. Williams. Collier.
Elliot Collier.
And clearly Elliot is one of the taller players on the team. Confused by the cloud cover currently hovering over Carroll Stadium.
That ball just took a little hop before he hit it.
Well, you're looking for his 6th goal of the season. And again, he's been averaging in the neighborhood of a goal like every 120 minutes he's played, because usually he has played in 15 and 20-minute bursts. Throw in coming here for the Legion. In earlier day, Detroit beat Miami, put them at 53 points. Pittsburgh beat Loudoun at Segra Field. North Carolina ended up hosting Tampa Bay. That venue was changed because of issues with Al Lang Stadium, understandably to Hurricane Helene. Hartford won at Tulsa. We'll have the full table for you coming up in the postgame show. And again, Rhode Island leads at Charleston 1-0. Zuhair.
Wow, my goodness.
Rita Zuhair makes it a 1-goal game in the 90th minute.
Are you kidding me? My goodness. 35 yards out?
He's on an MLS contract. I'm sure that'll be a nominee, and wisely so, for the goal of the week in the USL Championship. He had 8 goals in 25 matches in San Antonio last year. Did not join Birmingham until August. And again, that one absolutely handcuffed Hunter Salt.
That had some movement on it. Oh my goodness, what a shot.
5 minutes left to play in this match. And again, the playoff spot seems set for the Indy 11, but the win may not be. So 5 minutes of defending left to go for Indy.
Now you see, Martinez early in the game is sitting back here between Kavita and Carnali, kind of being a quarterback, just pulling that ball off of them and looking to see where to spray it to give the team the best opportunity. Now, because of his creativity and his finishing ability, he slid further up the field.
Martinez finds a teammate now on the cross, and nobody is there. I'm not sure the Indy 11 are experiencing comfort right now, but if you want to, go to the Hyatt Place and Hyatt House in downtown Indianapolis. Thanks to our great hotel partners with the Indy 11. Brickyard Battalion getting their money's worth in terms of smoke tonight. 3 goals and a long-lasting smoke that remains covering the field here at Carroll Stadium.
Yeah, it's almost Halloween, so you've got that eerie, it's just hanging above the field.
The fans in the 300 section can't exactly see the field right now. Thankfully, the stadium stops at the 200 level, in case you didn't get the joke.
I didn't get the joke. I'm still laughing at your Martinez joke. That was probably the best one in 11 years.
Really?
Yep.
That's it?
No, you haven't been that funny for 10 years. This year you've been fantastic.
Let's pick it up a little bit. Good. Thank you. Second decade's usually the best. Mateos. Wotton. And Wotton. Mensah takes it away. Then Wotton tried to get it right back, and
he just keeps fighting.
Yeah, Mensah's been outstanding. Musa. Neidlinger will buy some real estate. You can hear Sean McCauley's voice.
Yeah, you think sometimes you feel comfortable as a player being behind the ball and being too deep, but you got to come out and you got to press it. You got to force him into some quicker and uncomfortable decisions.
Around Mines on the cross. Gets through everybody, and Collier couldn't get there in time, and Birmingham does. And credit Birmingham, they've kept battling. Zuhair again.
Oh, my goodness.
And that'll be a corner.
My goodness, does he have it dialed in from 30?
The Legion will bring everybody up here. Van Opel will stay back in midfield. Short corner played by Birmingham. Ball headed. Swept away by Collier.
That's a tough clear.
Mensa will reset quickly. Taboritaka. Enzo Martinez could not get there. Mines eventually does. And Mines draws a whistle. I mean, every whistle takes 20, 30 seconds off the clock in this scenario with 2 minutes left to go. By the way, Zuhair that hit that goal, he turns 21 next month.
Ridiculous.
I'd say he has a bright future. It was his second goal in a Birmingham Legion uniform. Stay tuned, post-game coverage on My Indy TV. There's a second league match for those of you watching on CBS Sports Galazo tonight. Monterey Bay and the Switchbacks of Colorado Springs also on CBS Sports Galazo this evening. Entering the final minute. Quinn slows down Zuhair for just a moment. Aiden Stanley.
Great step.
Cronali. Ball finds Wotton, who now has scored what stands as the game-winning goal for the Indy 11. It felt like the insurance policy when he hit it. Doesn't feel that safe now. Mensa and Salt will catch and collapse.
Yeah. Tired legs, floats the ball.
Yep.
Needed to be driven.
And Mensa's done so many things well in this match in the second half. But maybe made the wrong decision there. And Salt will not let this ball go until he is told otherwise. There was just one goal in the match when these teams got together 4 months ago. A look at the wristwatch. That's it. The Indy 11 are a playoff team again in 2024. Back-to-back playoff trips for the first time since 2018 and 2019. Where they will play is up for debate. That'll be settled next week in Southwest Florida. Your final score after a match that had plenty of twists and turns. The Indy 11 3, Birmingham Legion 2. Our stat of the game is brought to us by Sports Tech HQ. We said this earlier that Indy would clear the 50-point barrier with the win. They are sitting on 51, and again, 50 normally gets you in. Frankly, 40 to 45 normally gets you in as well. It's going to be at least 45 this time around. Our Sports Tech HQ stat of the game. Stefano Pino did his part against his former team to keep his current team in the playoff race. But going to the final week of the season, Birmingham knows they have to win and get some help to be a playoff team in 2024. They play at Oakland next Saturday night. We'll step aside. Post-match coverage, plenty of player and coach interviews come your way next as you're watching Indy 11 Soccer on the CBS Sports Galazo Network and My Indy TV 23.
Every place has a purpose, and the people who inhabit those places have their own reasons for being there. The last thing on their minds should be concerns about the safety of the places they are in. When it comes to security and safety for all the places that matter, Dormakaba offers a seamless flow of integrated solutions that allow people to move securely about their daily lives. Because the places that matter to you matter to us.
For over a century, Indiana has been the destination for sports innovation and the state where champions are crowned. Now, we're entering a new era with Sports Tech HQ, a place that inspires innovation and invests in entrepreneurs who are changing the game, one startup at a time. Welcome to the crossroads of sports and technology. Sports Tech HQ, home of the game changers.
Find it, try it, paint it, love it. 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 Find it, try it, paint it, love it, love it, love it, love it.
Somewhere underneath there is a soccer pitch. And under that soccer pitch, or under that haze of celebratory smoke, the Indy 11 with 3 goals claim all 3 points and claim a playoff spot. They join Lou City, the Charleston Battery, Detroit City as the teams that have absolutely clinched a playoff spot. 4 more to be determined. Birmingham is still alive, but again, they now must get some help with 1 match left to go. We'll talk to Sean McCauley coming up in a matter of moments. We'll also hope to speak to goal scorers Lawrence Whatton as well as Jack Blake on the post-game show. The 3rd goal secured the win for the Indy 11. That is our Securing the Win moment brought to us by Allegiant. And what a time for Lawrence Whatton to pick up his 2nd goal of the season and his 1st since July 5th.
Yeah, it was great. You take a look at that ball, pops back out to him, and he sees that the 2 defenders are screening a bit of Van Okel's vision, and he just plays it back in behind him.
Again, he was an outstanding college player at Ohio State, the native of England, on a season-long loan from the Chicago Fire. He's been solid when he has been called upon. Hasn't played as much lately, but was up to the task tonight for the Indy 11. Time for our lockdown play of the game. It is brought to us by Schleg. And Indy locking into that playoff spot with the way they have won this evening. Rita Zoo here. Got the first one late in the match. Last Hunter Salt did not do the same with the second one.
And that second one was going. It had a tail on it as well.
Our Schleg lockdown play of the game for the 6'7" netminder out of Alaska, who has played every match but 2 since he first entered the lineup back in April in Colorado Springs. Well, Jack Blake is making his way to the interview position. He will join us now. Again, his 10th goal of the season. He and Augie Williams now tied for the team high in terms of goals scored. So he's got enough bricks where he can build a wall at this point. Jack Blake joins us now. You're back in the playoffs, my friend. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. Big achievement for the club. We're so happy, especially to clinch it with games remaining. You know, that's huge for the club.
You knew you would have made it in at least with a draw tonight, but to get it in a win and knowing you now give yourself a chance to be a home playoff team in a couple of weeks, what does that mean to you and the boys?
Yeah, we go out to win every game. You know, we want to take the 3 points. It's important to get momentum going into the playoffs, and yeah, the boys were fantastic. We dug in deep, and ultimately it was really hard work, but we got the reward in the end. Yeah.
You got Logan Neidlinger signing his first pro contract recently, and does it take you back to your first one and when you were a teenager coming up?
Yeah, a long time ago now. Logan was absolutely phenomenal tonight. He's been phenomenal since he's come in. For a young kid, he plays with such maturity, and he gets down and keeps his head down and works hard in training every day. And you know, he's earned the respect of the team, the staff, and you know, ultimately the trust. So that's why he's playing. Yeah.
Yeah, as a leader on this team, and having gone through a couple of differences this season, from starting out red hot to then being injured and having to lead a little bit from the sidelines to now returning to form. Talk to us about that locker room and how you navigate that as a leader.
Yeah, you know, ultimately the seasons are, you know, highs, lows, and mountains and valleys, you know, and we're we're riding a mountain right now, and we're hoping to keep that going into the playoffs. Throughout a season, you go through everything as a team, and it's important to stick together. We've become a brotherhood over the course of the season, and you bring that strong connection to the playoffs, and it sets you up for success. We just showed the replay of the goal. Great ball to you by Dougie. Just kind of what you see. How did that kind of play out in your mind, Jack? Yeah, we've been playing that kind of play since 2019. So, yeah, he's an intelligent player, and we work well together, and he's an exciting player for fans to come and watch as well. So, yeah, he put in a great shift as well tonight. Now that you know that you're in, does your mindset change about the match next week in Tampa Bay? Or do you approach it the same way you've approached the first 33 this season? No, I think like I said, we go in to win every game. We're not really looking at the table who we're going to play. That will be what it will be. That's out of our hands. We're confident to go up against any opponent in this league, and that's what we'll do. Well, I'm not sure whom you would play in 2 weeks. I know this. If you win next week, you're playing here. That much I do know as far as the week after that. Jack, go enjoy it. Congratulations on the W, and thanks for the time. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Again, 10th goal of the season for Jack Blake. Again, he and Augie Williams now tied for the team high. And again, we've seen him for a long time. Jacksonville, Minnesota United, right. Other teams in this league. He has been absolutely wonderful. And again, it started in preseason, and he stayed hot the entire year. Yeah, his quality, consistency, and he talked about maturity when we were talking about Neidlinger, and he brings that. He just is so much leadership coming out of him, and fantastic season that he's had so far. Sean McCauley joins us now, and my friend, the X is now in front of the name of the Indy 11. You're a playoff team. I know, frankly, you have bigger goals than that, but that's the first one that you want to achieve. So your thoughts on step one of the process?
I think it's really good for us because we're in now, which, it's really important that you get in. You don't want to go into the last game, obviously, and, there's teams below us that are going to have to go into that last game to confirm. And I think we're going with a little bit of momentum, irrespective of what happens next week. We've had a good few games against some tough opponents, and we're showing a lot of character to get the results. One of the things that you and I have talked about, and frankly Brad has as well, is that we have bragged on the depth of this team all season long. So I think that it's fitting that Ben Mines and Lawrence Wotton are the guys that combined on what turned into the game-winning goal on your playoff clinching night. Just your thoughts about the depth you have on this roster. Yeah, I mean, it's fantastic, and it's difficult to keep them all happy because they're all good enough to play. But they keep a good spirit amongst themselves. They keep a good work ethic and attitude towards training. I thought Ben Mines did really well when he came on because that's what we needed. We needed we've been putting Elliot on and in recent games, and you can't become too predictable with your changes. And I just felt as if Ben would provide us a little bit more of that defensive stability. But he's also very quick in the attack, and there was a couple of times he put the ball across which could have led to opportunities, and I'm pleased he did for Lawrence's. Yeah, you touched on it a bit with the momentum, but you take a look at October here. You've got 3 games on short rest to start out the month, and every team that you've got on this on the schedule here in October is a team that's fighting for playoffs, so you're not getting any cupcakes. You talk about the momentum, undefeated in the last 4. How does that impact you as you roll into the postseason? I mean, obviously you go in. I do look at the postseason. If you have momentum, you gain a little bit of confidence from that. But the playoffs are a different competition, really. We start fresh, and whoever we play, we'll go and we'll have the goal in mind that 4 games wins you a trophy. Yeah, 33 matches in, and Aiden Stanley has just been phenomenal getting up and down the field. Talk a little bit about his ability to change and impact a game. I mean, he's been really good the last few weeks. He had an unbelievable start to the season where he had all the assists. Then, midway through, it's sometimes difficult when you do so well. You expect it every week, and I think he's back to his best form. I thought he was excellent today, both in the defence and the attack. I thought, his decision-making and balls forward really put the opposition on the back foot early, and then you saw at the very end there that he's the one that's carrying the game, and I'm really, really pleased for him. Last question before we let you go and enjoy this one. I know you haven't even digested this one yet. I'm going to ask you about next week anyway. Do you treat next week any differently in terms of maybe sitting a guy that's injured or trying to get somebody some playing time
knowing you've got something to play for in terms of your seed, but you know that you're in. Does that make you treat next Saturday any differently in your mind whatsoever?
No. I think we've got to go for it. We've got to try and get the seed because that's important for the club. I spoke a lot about winning mentality as well regarding the club and the team. We've had 10 years in the league and we have a points per game of 1.3 and it's not enough. I think if we finish the season today, we're at 1.5 for this season. We need to keep increasing that because to be a consistent playoff team that gives you the chance to win it. We need to go into next week's game with a view of winning it and also getting a home playoff game for the supporters. So that's the mindset of us going in. But whatever result happens next week, we will reset and the playoffs become, like I said, a different competition, and we'll reset it. And we've been all right in cup competitions this year.
Yes, you have, as the most successful head coach in terms of Indy 11 U.S. Open Cup history. You can take that mantle for playoffs and postseason as well. Give yourself some time to enjoy this tonight, my friend. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Sean McCauley, nice to join us. Lawrence Wood will be coming up in a matter of moments, but first, a short timeout. Post-game coverage continues next as you're watching Indy 11 Soccer on My Indy TV 23.
Fire the camera and now I do want to make sure it's kind of thing, yeah, perfect. All right, down yeah, that's what
Hallelujah. One nation under God. Real. How to say that? She like the way I dance. She like the way I move. She like the way I rock. She like the way I view. Yeah, she let it clap for it. And she throw it back for it. Yeah, she throw it back for it. Like a man. Millie team. Pushing the yard to go. Moving on the stores. Tonight's match features Colorado Springs FC taking on your Monterey Bay FC. Tonight is Monterey Bay FC's Fan Appreciation and Breast Cancer Awareness Night.
You know what it is, and it's time to DJ Amen. I'm too sexy for this girl, too sexy for your girl, too sexy for this world, too sexy for this ice, too sexy for that jack. Yeah. I'm too sexy for this chain, too sexy for your game, too sexy for this fame. I'm too sexy for the trap, too sexy for that trap, too sexy for that jack. Scratched $1 million up my check this 3 years ago. 2 zeros to the 1, I'm in a different mode. It's not like the what I wanna be with different. You know the pick and roll, I can't represent the home. I gotta reach out strong, get them in and get them go. You know Travis just got out of here, put them on. We the ones got the mental, put the city on. It's the middle of the summer, I gotta